The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. The battle lines are drawn. The forest is in danger. King Grooknock has brought his army to claim the forest for his own. Trillium and her friends are at the moment of decision as we listen in to see how the conflict unfurls. Enjoy the podcast.
Hi, and welcome to The Shed for Adventures from the Shed. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com, iTunes, Facebook, Google+, Bing. Mickey, I want to say thank you for you saying Yoo-hoo at one point. I'll say Yoo-hoo as Kurt gets his microphone ready. Find us on Yoo-hoo, which is a delicious chocolatey drink, as well as a website apparently where you can find us. Thank you, Mickey. We are continuing in our Dungeon World campaign set in our world of Paradisi. Another shout out. Thank you to Mike Robertson for putting that map together. We'll show that online at some point. We have a group of folks at our table who are going to say hi, and we'll start with this person right here to my left.
Hello, this is Chris playing Uriel the Immolator.
And this is Kelly playing Trillium the Druid.
Hey, this is Kurt. I'm playing Breton, the Ranger, with his White Wolf companion, Cloud.
And this is Bridget, playing Lenore the Cleric.
And I'm Joe. I'm your game master as we continue this Dungeon World campaign set in our world of Paradisi, as I had already mentioned. We are going to pick up from our last episode, where we are in and around Trillium's home, which is a nice cozy den right behind a waterfall in a nice area of Valshanks forest. Probably, my guess, and Kelly, tell me if I'm incorrect here, but probably the most serene and calm area of the forest, where there's a nice soothing nature. The sound of the waterfall keeps everything calm and relaxed.
And I work hard to keep it that way.
And inside of that area, there was a den where there was a nice cozy fire where Lenore and Trillium were there, and Lenore was helping Trillium reduce her suffering from the area being currently beset upon by King Grooknock of the Hobgoblins, wanting to lay claim to this area just recently, as in the last few minutes, if not hours. We have both Uriel and Breton stepping outside of this den area, looking around the area. Breton noting that Cloud, his faithful wolf companion, wouldn't step more than maybe 20 or so feet away from Breton for the first time. Even as a stubborn wolf companion, Cloud would not step farther away. There's this oppressive aura around the area. Uriel recently went out to scout and saw right over a little ridge there was an area with a dense hobgoblin force that have wicker baskets of figures suspended above fire, screaming sounds, some kind of humanoid sounds from within inside. The hobgoblins currently torturing things of nature. You could see things like hobgoblins grabbing things just as small as little chipmunks or woodchucks or what have you. They're holding them in their hands, and they have these sharpened and serrated, nasty hobgoblin forged blades, jabbing them into these little creatures of nature. Amongst that mess is a throne, a makeshift throne of wicker and wood and stone, which sits a hobgoblin, which is hard to tell. His figure seems to be, it could be 5 feet, 6 feet, 10 feet tall. Hobgoblin King Grooknock, who is of almost indeterminable size, but definitely larger than any other hobgoblin in the area. He has this slash across his face, across his visage of some sort of blade cut across him, but he is clearly happy and joyous, and at the same time forceful and commanding over all that he surveys. The torture of the small woodland creatures, of the things in the wicker baskets, everything the hobgoblins are doing near him that defiles nature seems to make his grimace grows a centimeter wider and wider and wider. He is definitely pleased at everything his hobgoblin cohorts are doing to this pristine, otherwise pristine bit of nature that Trillium has called her home. And with that cheery introduction, we leave it. I bring it back to our group of players, Bridget and Kurt and Kelly and Chris, to determine how we are going to handle this hobgoblin menace in the forest of Valshanks. Ready, set, go.
Well, would you guys like me to try and do hold person on what the heck is it? Grooknock?
Grooknock.
Since he seems to be
I keep wanting to say
orchestrating this.
Grooknock from Galaxy Quest, the big stone creature.
Yeah, not in this case.
Yeah.
It was funny to me is I can't remember over the last few hours who came up with that name. Was it me?
It was you.
Okay, it was me. Because I typed it. I just couldn't remember who came up with it. Because we
the
come up,
last
we
thing-
He's
come
a
up with
distant
names.
relative of Nick Knack.
Yeah,
Or Nick Knock.
Nick.
Yeah, I would say you could do it.
Try it. All right. First dice roll of the game for me.
here's what I want to know before we get there.
Yep.
Because as it sits, our last foray outside of Trillium's home, outside of her den of comfort and warmth and purity, we probably traveled, let's call it, several hundred feet. It's not far, but several hundred feet away from Trillium's home, where Uriel first encountered this, then relayed it to everyone. At this point, is everybody kind of... I'm painting this picture in my head. Is everyone kind of going up to this ridge and peeking over the ridge just to see what's going on? Or how are you guys...
Yeah.
That's what, I'm
That's
thinking.
what I was
Everybody's
thinking.
where
Yeah.
I was at.
Because he
Yeah.
had kind of been up front and he said something back to Trillium
He said what?
about
Anger.
Anger is a gift.
Anger is a
Yeah.
gift. And we kind of all moved up to the edge to see what was
I
going
kind of.
on.
I think that my character would probably freak out at that point. Like, I think I'd hit a point where I'm like,
See, I'm expecting
no.
little steam lines
Yeah,
coming up
like-
from her head. Yeah.
I think. Okay, well, we can proceed with.
Lenore.
What are we doing?
Well, it may take
Who's going to
some-
do hold person
It
on
may
him?
take some
Okay.
convincing from Lenore that Trillium should hold back for a moment while we figure out a better plan,
Yeah, because I'm
rather
wanting to
than
just
just
go
You're ready
jumping
to-
in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Because I
if-
can
if
imagine you turning into a jaguar and just like
I was
lunging at
thinking
his
bear,
throat.
like
bear yeah.
of the forest, just
Yeah.
you know, like get in there.
That's
But
probably a cool idea. But, I mean, we can try and hold Grooknock and see if that gets their attention without, you know, maybe stops or pauses this frenzy that's going on.
yeah,
Get
all
there.
right. So I would
Although-
say, like, shortly after you do your spell, like, I want to turn into a bear and just like start laying waste.
Do you want to do that
Maul.
now?
So my reasoning
Before? Just in
for the
case
whole
something goes
person-
wrong?
Yeah, my reasoning for the whole person is like so he can't escape.
Right.
Yeah.
But I want to do damage to him right after that. So he's
Oh,
going
yeah.
to be able to get.
But that breaks hold
But-
person.
Right.
Right.
But he can't try to like dodge. Like I would say, he's unable
held
to
in
dodge.
place,
Yes.
and then when you
As
deal a
soon
crap
as
ton of
he's-
fire
yeah.
damage to
Yeah,
him,
that's
right?
that was my thing.
Okay.
All right.
So you
yeah,
wanna,
so do
do
that.
you want to change first, just in case something
No,
goes
'cause
wrong with my plan?
I'm like in a fit of rage. Like I don't, because if I change, then I'm just going in.
You're
there.
going animal and
So-
you're gone.
You
All
should
right.
do your thing first.
And remember, too, this was off to the east of Trillium's home, of her comforting, warm den, which means the sun setting to the west, which
Behind
would
us.
mean you have your shadows will be cast ahead, but mainly it's the shadows of the trees and what have you. But as you're looking into this area where the hobgoblins are, you can, from your angle, you can clearly see their faces, the bloodshot eyes, the glee in their expression as they torture woodland creatures, as these figures that are in the wicker baskets suspended above flames as they're screaming. First off, just as a note, there's no chance that people are going to hear you. They may see you, but sounds you make, you don't need to be
Yeah.
stealthy based on sounds. There are screams from the baskets. There are rabbits and unfortunate chipmunks and squirrels being stabbed by crude goblin blades. And the sounds that are there, you do not need to cover your sounds. You might want to be hidden. It depends on how you feel
Well, like I
about
said,
this.
just kind of
Right.
peeking up over the ridge, just enough that I can see him because I have to see him to be able to hold him.
But it's like trying to be quiet during a fireworks show. It doesn't matter. There's plenty of sound out there that sound won't matter. But, you're there. You're looking right over the ridge and down there a few hundred feet in the distance. At the most, a few hundred feet, if not, a lot of it's a lot closer. You see this it's a mess of things that are all an affront to the nature that Trillium knows that shouldn't be happening. And it's a hobgoblin tribe led by King Grooknock that is saying that nature will bow to our whim. We own this land now. So therefore,
I am going to attempt to hold person on Grooknock.
Read and describe what that looks like from Lenore's point of view.
Read it.
Read the spell itself.
Choose a person.
First time we're using it. So
choose a person you can see. Until you cast a spell or leave their presence, they cannot act except to speak. This effect ends immediately if the target takes damage from any source.
So on this wicker and wood and stone platform that is currently it's sitting on the ground. I'm thinking of it in my head. So if you can picture the same way, I thought of old Egyptian kind of looks where you have your emperor or your empress, whatever, carried in this thing by slaves that has now been set on the ground, and now the top is open and you can see the king, Grooknock, sitting on this platform that is part of something that other hobgoblins would then pick up and move him to the next area. He's currently sitting on that platform, and it's made of wood and wicker and stone and what have you. And again, from your angle, based on the sun setting and the flickering of the flames, you're not sure if this hobgoblin is 5 feet tall or 10 feet tall or 12 feet tall, but he is clearly bigger than anything else you can see.
He's an abomination.
Yes. And that's the person you're looking at as you go to cast your whole person. What does it look like as you're casting it before you roll the dice? And then we'll determine what it looks like when you've cast it. Wow, that thing flew.
That traveled.
Jumped right out of your hand.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't do this. I am going to touch my holy symbol.
Okay.
And
remind us what your holy symbol looks like. I think you have it on paper there.
It's a...
Give us an idea conceptually because people are listening.
I don't know. I mean,
it
it's
looks exactly like I don't know.
It's kind of almost like a star, but only has 4 points.
Okay.
And the bottom half of it folds up underneath. The bottom half is the ceremonial dagger that I use.
Do the 4 points matter as in like cardinal points of the compass, or is it just 4 points?
Just 4 points.
Okay.
It's the symbol for the Order of Zoraika.
Okay. But the other 3 people you were with would recognize this by now.
As my holy symbol,
times,
yes.
Right.
Yes. But I'm not going to fold the dagger out because I'm not going to use that part of it. So it actually to them only looks like 3 points.
Okay.
Well, I made it, so I know what it looks like. Right?
Uriel made it at the forge. So I'm going to touch that and say a word to Zoraika.
What word?
Well, not a word, but like a whispered prayer, or Zoraika, give me strength.
Think of it from the perspective of your casting hold person. Is the word you're speaking in the tongue of your religion that means stop or don't move or freeze or I'll shoot or what? Any ideas what the word might be or words phrase? If not, you can just make up mumbo jumbo. Mumbo jumbo is also very acceptable.
Mumbo jumbo, mumbo jumbo, mumbo jumbo.
Kelly's saying
Jumbo.
Jumbo.
I don't know the words.
Okay.
I can't speak them in your language.
I like that. Good.
But you hear some sort of
Hannah and Splash.
Yeah, you hear. I do not make any sound like that because that would draw attention. But
they wouldn't hear. Remember,
you hear some sort of a very low guttural
dolphin sound.
No.
Think about any
like death metal toilet
fireworks.
vocals?
Any fireworks show you've ever been to? Have you ever said, "Hey, what was that other sound that wasn't fireworks"? that's kind of the situation you're in. You could make any sound you want. If you jump up and down, like doing jumping jacks or something,
No.
they might see you. However, sound, irrelevant.
But I'm going to say something that nobody actually understands the language form of.
It's Zoraiko Latin.
Zuricanian?
Zorikinian.
You
Zuricanian?
can just say cultish.
No, it's not a cult. And
It's not a cult.
hold my hand out towards him, and
Like you're gripping him?
like I'm gripping him, and
Like crushing your head.
when and if this works, he should stop moving,
Let's find out.
and hopefully the
Yeah, 'cause
frenzy
he's like,
will stop.
boom.
Yeah, he's
Exactly.
like driving it with his staff.
So Chris's emotion that you couldn't see, but I'll reiterate. He's holding a scepter in his right hand. So I'll say scepter, some kind of wooden gem-crusted thing in his right hand. He's kind of pounding it on his throne in the rhythm that you hear the thrumming of the drums. And it's pretty rhythmic. It's a beat every 1.5 seconds or so. Boom, 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 boom. And that's what's going on. And every time he hits it, one of the hobgoblins in his tribe does something unspeakable. Whether it be urinating on the ground or stabbing a chipmunk or stoking the fire under a wicker basket, something like that. Something bad happens every time he thrums.
So I'm going to stop him.
this thing. Let's find out. I'll keep doing this until
9
you
plus 2 for wisdom.
That's more than 10,
That's
right?
an 11. And he stops.
All right, so what happens now on whole
Have him-
person? Now we know what it looked like
He
when
cannot
you were casting
move
it.
except to speak.
So if I interpret correctly what Bridget said, you had your hand out, and when you clasp it together like in a fist, you're holding him
Yep.
in place. So while you have that fist there, I'm looking at it as everyone else. So between Uriel, Trillium, Breton, you probably see Lenore's arm quiver as she's holding this abnormally large and furious hobgoblin.
Got
in
him.
her
And
And the
grasp.
camera angle's like right on that.
Yeah.
it's
Got
like
him.
he's actually in her hands.
So you see that there's
Squish your head.
Yeah.
So as she's holding it, the camera's showing her fist, Lenore's fist, and you can see the scars along her arm. And it's kind of blurry because the focus is on that hobgoblin off in the distance, sitting in that throne, who stops thrumming, stops pounding the scepter against the throne, and his eyes widen. And I'm talking like anime widen, where his eyes are way bigger than it's said to begin with, and then turn even bigger.
Was it like the record screech?
Saucer plates. And when his scepter does not come down on the next thrum, immediately the throngs of hobgoblins around him, the 20, the 30, the 40, however many are around him that you can see, stop and turn towards him, holding their blood trickling daggers and whatever they were using to perform their bad stuff. They stop and they turn towards King Grooknock, and they're just looking at him, and his eyes are just wider than any natural thing's eyes should be. What's
Okay.
up?
I can't take it anymore. I roar.
Don't
trying to
attack.
turn into
don't
a bear.
attack Grooknock.
All right.
Because if he takes damage, I lose control of him.
Can I,
Well, there's
okay.
no initiative. I mean, we can just do
You
whatever.
can do whatever you want.
What I would like to hear is, Kelly, if you have an idea of what Trillium should do here, you will probably be the first to act, because I can imagine you are as high-strung as a freaking jaguar
Yeah.
watching the gazelle,
Exactly.
the wounded gazelle limping by.
I'm not
waiting
sitting
for that moment.
I'm not sitting here like, guys, I guess we should,
Yeah.
maybe attack these guys. No, I'm pissed.
So all of a sudden,
Crush, kill, destroy.
that string that has been so tautly hung in your soul has just snapped.
And I
What's
can-
the first thing?
I can feel it too. Like you're
Okay,
just
so I want to roll to shapeshift into a bear.
Okay.
And, well, actually, okay, I just, there's a couple things that I want to do.
Okay.
And I think I'll need the emulator to help with this.
Or the immolator.
Emulator.
Yeah,
Emulator.
terminal.
He's a terminal emulator. If you need amber screen or green screen,
Just
he
type
can
in
do it.
sudo first. I'll do whatever you want.
For the 2 Linux people who are listening, you're welcome.
Yeah. Hit it.
So I'm thinking I want to create like a ring of fire, like around the entire camp.
It burns, the ring of fire.
That's what
Thank
I
you,
wanted.
Johnny Cash.
That's what I wanted the emulator
Yeah.
to do.
Oh, is that what you're gonna
Well,
do?
my original plan was to just drop a fire pillar on top of Grooknock.
Before we go too far, Kelly, I want to know what is Trillium's instinct.
Yeah.
Okay,
What is the
Trillium's
first thing?
instinct.
So at this point, think of the picture. You know bad things are afoot.
Mm-hmm.
You just peeked over the ridge, and Lenore reaches out with her left hand, apparently.
Okay.
And she has now grasped the thing that is the focal point of everything bad
Okay.
that could be happening to your home, which is surrounded by lots of little bad things that are already happening to your home. You're looking and you see all of a sudden, it's like Jingle Bells was playing. Everybody was singing Jingle Bells. And when Lenore clasped her fist, Jingle Bells stopped. Everyone looked at the conductor, and it's up to you to say what happens next.
All right.
What
I'm
do
going
you
to
do?
shapeshift into a bear.
Into a bear. Go for it.
8 plus 2 is 10.
That's awesome. You get 3 hold. from
So
that.
with a
What
rage-filled roar.
How free? I mean, is this like the biggest freaking grizzly bear, or is this like a polar bear? I mean, what
This
kind
is-
Could you go dire bear?
of? I don't mind.
A little bit.
Is this like a bear with extra spikes sticking out of it, or
I don't know.
how natural? How natural
Yeah, it's
is
Like
the-
she's so pissed, she
Yeah.
almost goes like unnaturally large.
Well, first off,
you know?
Oh,
regardless, it's a feathered bear, which is humorous in
not
our
fully
It's got like a
perspective.
mohawk of
Right.
feathers.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm saying like I stand up real tall and I roar and everybody they turn to us.
It would happen because with no other reason, but then because Lenore stopped Jingle Bells from playing,
Right.
as I analogized
Grab
it.
the conductor.
Right. So the conductor stopped the orchestra, and then all of a sudden the feathered bear goes,
Yeah,
The
like,
records.
right?
Right.
Whoa,
And
how did he go?
Everything stops. Every hobgoblin head turns as if on a swivel. Like,
except Grooknock.
except Grooknock.
Yes.
Every
He's
other
facing
one
the
is
right
like
way.
an owl. They're staring at Grooknock, and all of a sudden you figure it's like click, 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 bang. Everything is looking at the beautifully, if not enraged, feathered owl bear. I say owl, I don't know why, because of the feathers. The bear. And what does this bear now do?
So the bear now charges. I want to.
Bears are real fast from what I've heard from National Geographic.
They are
I want to
fast.
charge
Like up to
down
40
to
miles an hour or
the
something.
encampment and just
Yeah.
I'm killing whatever's in my path.
So as that bear launches herself down towards the hobgoblins, which are now completely focused on it, I want to know what Breton does.
So
Because Breton, as the astute ranger, should
Right.
be ready to take some sort of action.
absolutely. So he's got Cloud ready, and he's got his bow. He's following down behind. And now that he's got his blot out the sun, he's ready to shoot multiple targets
Yep.
as soon as Trillium attacks.
Okay, so
'Cause we
you're,
got the
you're
king
waiting
held.
until she gets into the fray.
Yeah, like right before she gets there, I'm gonna do a triple shot.
All right, so after he's going to think about doing the triple shot,
Yeah, so I'm not going to wait. I want to get the action started. So
All
I'm
right.
going to bend flame to my will.
Okay.
And I want to turn the flames that are being used to destroy nature onto the hobgoblins. So
Okay.
Little
those
elemental
under the different
revenge.
wicker baskets that are
Yeah,
over
yeah.
there,
So any
you're going
flames that are being
to
used for that, I want to
Okay.
turn against the hobgoblins. Kind of like,
All right.
almost like end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know, the flame going around and
Yep.
hitting all the Nazis.
like the idea, at least.
Heads exploding, that kind of
See,
thing.
as long as there's some kind of as long as there's some kind of Ark of the Covenant here, you're all
Well, I got
set.
13, so that's a pretty
There should
mystical
be
number.
There should be an Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah. So we're turning this into hobgoblin face melter time.
Yes.
Kurt, what do you?
I didn't know if you wanted my roll on my arrows or if you were waiting on that.
So you wanted to make it when Trillium reached there as a bear.
Yeah.
As it is, Uriel or Chris wanted this to happen before she reached there. It's some kind of, I don't know, extra
Yeah, 'cause
fire.
I'm not going to be able to get.
Extra
I'm not going to be.
distraction.
I'm assuming I'm not going to get all the hobgoblins in this
Right.
kind of like turn. But so she's just going to start wading through whoever
Well,
whoever made it
right,
past
right.
the flame pile, and you're going to start just taking dudes out, and she
Right.
can just run.
So I roll,
Alright.
yeah.
So
But
let's start with
I guess
that.
I use all my ammo up because I only have 3 ammo, I think, according to my sheet.
It's fine to use it all up.
All right, but I rolled a 10 plus 3, so 13.
Okay. So let's start with the fire. You want the fire to spread to the hobgoblins, not the baskets.
Yeah, so I'm assuming they have put these
Baskets.
posts like along the edge of the thing. The flames are coming up and burning like whatever's in the basket. So
Okay.
I want to start changing the path of that fire.
So Zuko style, read that out.
So that is when you bend flame to your will. Roll, wisdom plus wisdom on a 10 plus. It does as you command, taking the shape and movement you desire, for as long as it has fuel on which to burn.
Okay.
So I could just keep.
You're in
moving
the
around.
forest. There's plenty of stuff to
Plenty of fuel,
right?
but it was whatever
okay.
they were initially using to
Yeah.
burn. I assume they had like a pile of.
So
wood,
the hobgoblins are essentially wherever those fire pits are that are coming up under the wicker baskets. They have spears where they're just poking the baskets just for fun, just to hear the squeal of whatever animal is in there. It's probably something bigger than a chipmunk or a squirrel or what have you. It's like hogs and.
I'm kind of getting hungry. I'm
probably-
going to admit, Uriel's getting it smells pretty good.
You know what? The area probably has a distinct smell of pork, roasting, bacon.
It's a
what
big
have
barbecue.
you. At least one of the wicker baskets will have something like a bear cub and something in it, which would probably infuriate.
Oh yeah, totally.
Trillium a bit. But what happens when you do that? The spears they're using to poke the baskets to elicit more sounds that infuriates the hobgoblins. The spears catch fire. It hit the hobgoblins in their hands, start on fire, and they're just they scream in their weird hobgoblin way, and there's several of them that are making that noise, and they drop their spears, and they're just kind of trying to put their hands out, like brushing them on their hobgoblin pants. What are hobgoblins wearing for pants? I don't know. Some kind of weird leather combination, kind of like poor man's pleather. They're wearing pleather.
Pleather.
Hobgoblins wear pleather. That's what is true in our world now. So they're putting their hands out and they're trying to what's that? And they're staring at King Grooknock, who is staring into your general direction. Like he knows something's going on from this direction, but he can't pinpoint it. Lenore, it looks like he's looking 2 feet over your head. He doesn't know where you are, but he knows there's something over there that's messing with him. And with every fiber of his being, you can practically see every hair on his misformed, mutated hobgoblin body. Every hair is pointed in your direction, but he still has this wild-eyed, dinner plate eyes open so wide and bloodshot with tiny little pupils staring in an area probably 2 feet over Lenore's head. Breton, now that Uriel has spawned extra fire that has caught on to the hobgoblins that were poking the wicker baskets, you're there. What's up?
Right, so
If you have something you want to do before the enraged bear reaches the hobgoblin fracas.
I mean, I wanted to come in with a single shot, take out 3
Now, did you want
enemies
to
that are
blot
in
out
her-
the sun, though?
in her way. Yeah. That's how I have to do that to make that
I'll
work.
call it blot out the sunset in this case, but
Yeah.
why not?
I have to do that to make it work.
Okay.
And then I guess I'm out of ammo, so I'll go melee
So
after
tell me
that.
what it sounds like. Or read it, and then tells me what it looks.
Right, so when I can spend extra ammo to choose multiple targets and apply the damage roll to all of them. So I envision it kind of like Legolas in Lord of the Rings when he's got a single shot with 3 arrows laid out on the bow with a single pull, and they're going. So I already rolled to hit.
Who will be your Gimli in this case? Because you're going to shout out a number of how many you've killed.
That's true.
Which is 500 more.
Right.
Than
I'm saying
Gimli.
Cloud's your Gimli.
I was gonna say normally I would do that with Trillium, but since she's in bear form, I may just have to talk to Cloud.
You don't want her turning around and biting you.
No. I rolled a 13 to hit before, but I did not roll damage.
That's fine.
So I have just a straight D8 for damage.
Now, any specific... let me give you the different goblins you're talking about, or we're looking at in this scenario. You're looking at King Grooknock himself.
No.
Immediate guards around him who are pretty much Grooknock cheerleaders, if you will. Probably his elite guard.
Yeah.
But they're standing near him with a spear, not doing anything except standing near the boss with a spear. Mm-hmm. Right? Then you have, we'll call them the spear people that...
the wicker basket crowd.
Uriel attacked the wicker basket crowd with their spears. Several of them. Apart from that, you're talking 20, 30 hobgoblins that are part of Grooknock's tribe that are tending fires, poking chipmunks, anything that if you watch them in a regular nature film, you're thinking, oh, these are the pricks.
I'm going to try to headshot the guards so that when we decide to attack the king and let hold person go, it's an easier
So
run
specifically the king's guards.
Correct.
Okay.
Headshots.
Yep. So you got a 13.
I'm also trying to figure out, it doesn't look like I have any backup weapon beyond my bow, which seems hard to believe.
Yeah, but now you only lose ammo if you missed the shot?
I don't know. How does
that
Blot
work?
Out the Sun says use extra ammo to incorporate extra targets, right?
Right. And my ammo, I have a hunter's bow, and it says a bundle of arrows, 3 ammo, 1 weight.
Yeah.
But ammo could be 10 arrows or...
So I like the idea of leaving you with melee after this because you're going crazy shooting all your arrows out.
But do I have a melee weapon?
You could beat somebody with a bow.
You pick short sword, long sword, rapier, whatever.
Okay.
Maybe you could just pick up one of the spears from the ground.
Look on your gear as a ranger. I want to say you have not in addition to the bow. You should.
Oh no, you're right.
something
Hunter's
else.
bow and short sword, or hunter's bow and spear. I see.
Short sword.
Got it. All right. Short
Now,
sword.
would you want a short sword or a spear?
Short sword
Okay.
for me.
So you're
I'm
gonna,
going,
you're gonna take all your arrows and probably 2 or 3 shots with 4 or 5 arrows at a time, the Legolas style, and you're going to hit them, and then you're going to take out your sword and charge forward.
This all sounds awesome until I roll a 1 or a 2, but we'll see.
Find
Right.
out.
It's headshots.
7.
7. So around this, somebody help me. What's the name of what those Egyptians would carry
A
the
leader.
person
A
in?
litter.
A
Litter.
I was going to
It's a
say
litter.
Travoy, but it's not. I was just throwing out Travoy for
Thank you, JJ. Shout out to JJ Travoy. It's not that, but shout out nonetheless.
It's a litter.
A litter?
Yeah.
Okay, so the 4 hobgoblins. Now you could do 3 ammo, right? So you take out 3 of the 4. All right, and the 4th grabs his spear and jumps up in front of Grooknock, like turning left and right, eyes wide, trying to figure out where the threat is coming from. After seeing this rain of arrows come down, piercing the chest and the throat and the head of his 3 comrades, his job is to protect the boss. He jumps up to protect the boss. He jumps up right in front of the litter, and he's got his spear in front of him, holding it as strong as he can. You can see the veins ripple from his biceps as he's grasping the spear, and he wants to know who's coming, who's coming for his boss. He doesn't seem to be concerned that his boss is at this point impotent because of Lenore, but he's ready to protect him at all costs, and that's what's there as Trillium plows forward. Bear. What does a growl sound like? And I don't. To be fair, I don't anticipate Kelly being able to make the right sound, but try it. What is it? What is the piss? What does a
just
pissed off
rage.
sound like?
Oh,
Sound like as you're
Gotta go
an
deep.
enraged bear?
Gotta go deep.
Well,
Is it a...
That was pretty
Like a
good.
freight train.
Yeah, definitely. It's not like that. I'd say it's more like how I picture it. It's like an initial, like, very loud
Okay.
roar, and then now it's just like I gotta get down
Okay.
there and I'm laying waste. So I'm just kind of like huffing, you know.
So you're heading straight forward. You're there. Now think of this as the battle has already ensued.
Right.
Lenore, because everyone else started with something ranged. Lenore started with, she grabbed King Grooknock by the cojones, apparently, with her left arm, and is holding him as tight as she can hold him because no one else is damaged.
My arm is getting tired, guys.
Grooknock is just standing there staring 2 feet above Lenore's head. In the meantime, fire has leapt from wicker basket to wicker basket, from spear to spear with these goblins. Like, they went from holding a wooden stick to holding a hot pan in the fire. And they're like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, in the lowering light in the dusk, Breton held up his bow, and as he let the bowstring go, it seemed like a myriad, like a spider web of arrows came down and fell upon the guards around Grooknock. And Grooknock's guards fell and fell and fell, and the last one is standing there with a spear going, I'm going to protect my boss, I'm going to protect my boss. And all of a sudden, the mean-ass grizzly bear goes, charges down the hill, and is headed towards what?
The guard. The
guard?
remaining
The one
guard.
that's in front. Okay.
I'm running, I'm on all fours,
Yeah.
and I come up, and I want to just swipe him with my big giant bear
So you
paw.
want to bear the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Maul him.
Yeah,
as it
yeah.
were.
I'm in maul mode.
So you had 10 plus.
I might
which means
giggle a little bit when I see
Which means you
it.
had 3 hold. So we're going to use 1 as a bear to maul the shit out of him. There's
Okay.
no need to roll that because you already rolled.
Oh, yeah, that's
to
right.
be
I
a
already have
bear,
my 3 holds. yeah.
Right? So 1 hold is going to be used to maul the poo out of the remaining King's Guard
Yep.
in front. Tell me what that looks like when you make him ineffective.
So I swing my paw and I hit him like right across the face, and his whole body just flies to the other side of the litter, I guess, because
Okay.
he's standing in front of. Yeah.
So this is one of those movie shots where, regardless of physics,
Oh,
you
yeah.
hit him and he's gone like 20 feet
Yeah,
in that direction.
ragdoll.
We started watching Buffy, so I'm probably
Oh, my favorite.
I'm channeling Buffy like style, you know. Like,
My favorite.
Strong.
So
I'm
I-
watching season 1 with my boys right now as an aside. It's so good.
I know.
Wait.
It's one of those things that I like to reflect on. You shoot someone with a shotgun, and if you hit them and they fly back 5 feet, the force should have been enough to make you
Yes,
fly back
yeah.
5 feet as
That's
well.
why that does not happen.
That's physics,
Yeah.
folks. But it's okay. Physics here is completely different. We're in Dungeon World. So this bear could hit him and make him fly, and you hit him with your right paw, and he's just off in that direction.
Yeah.
Out of the scene, well past the guys who got all the arrows in them from Breton. And now Trillium is standing upright, perhaps, on 2 feet instead of 4, looking directly at King Grooknock. What does Trillium do at this point? This is the hobgoblin of amorphous size, apparently, because I keep describing him as different sizes.
well, I know I can't
Trillium
hurt
has
him.
maybe a 7 or 8 foot
You do whatever.
grizzly bear on her hind legs. It's probably up to the height of Grooknock sitting in that litter, in that thing that was carrying him around, currently held in place by Lenore, holding her arm out there, probably getting tired at the shoulder because it's a big hobgoblin. And he is still looking at her, but let's put it this way. One eye is looking over your head, over Trillium's head at Lenore off in the distance, and the other eye is focused on the big-ass feathered bear in front of him, and he's wondering what the hell's going to happen next.
Now, keep in mind, if you happen to kill him, like, quickly, I can talk with him, speak with the dead.
I'm gonna kill him.
Quickly.
Okay,
Let's
so
talk with him.
I I right swipe this guy, the guard.
Yeah.
And then I'm standing up on my hind legs,
Just tear
and
him apart.
I sink my teeth right into his neck.
What color are the feathers?
Brown.
So the grizzly bear is pretty much brown with brown feathers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're coming like out of my head.
Okay.
And that's it. I'm not covered in feathers. It's just my head. So I grab him at his jugular and I kind of swing my head around.
A full mouth grab?
Oh, it is full mouth
so
grab.
So this sounds like a bear thing. That's going to be another hold. That's going to be 2 out of the 3. Mm-hmm. So you're going to grab him by the neck and start swinging him.
Yeah.
He's not going to take damage until you tell me you want him to take damage, in which case the hold person will break, which Lenore already let you know. Okay. You may not remember this being in enraged bear form, but Lenore said don't hurt him yet. I think that was the word.
Just hurt him.
I wanted you guys to wait to hurt him until we inflicted some other damage,
I want
which
to be
we've
clear,
done.
too, you still have 30 hobgoblins around you that are part of King Grooknock's clan.
So we haven't taken any of the other ones out yet?
No, they're just on hurt. Their hands are burned, blistered.
We're making a gamble at killing the king and all of his guards.
Well, plus we've disarmed a lot of them.
I mean, the guards are dead.
Yeah, the elite guards
So really, we just have like a large group, I guess, of like...
So who wants to act quickly based on the inflamed, infuriated grizzly grabbing Grooknock by the throat and starting to shake him? Who wants to react quickly on that?
See, I would still want to use the fire to start burning the hobgoblins because I still have control over it.
What else?
Well, I was going to send Cloud into the minion hobgoblins, but if you're going to burn them, I'll set Cloud with the bear to double team Grooknock.
Lenore,
well, as soon as he takes damage, I'm going to feel
he's not taking damage yet.
But I'm waiting for him to take damage so that I can then prepare magic missile.
Let me throw out what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is as soon as Trillium has grabbed him by the neck, somebody else could shout out or whatever, saying, "Your boss is in trouble. Who's going to give up?" kind of thing, right? Like he's no longer in control if she's in control. Therefore, what's going on next? That's what I'm thinking. You guys handle it how you want. Burn them all, kill them all.
I'd rather get some numbers down so they're even more demoralized.
Okay.
Like, man, our boss is there, the elite guards are dead, and like half our numbers are gone or something. Yeah.
I mean, you've got him grabbed, pinned. He's not going anywhere. You can kill him if you want.
Yeah,
that's not necessarily true. He might get somewhere.
Yeah, I haven't.
He's still a friggin' hobgoblin king after all. It just happens to be a badass druid's got him by the throat right now.
And you have one more hold.
Does it take damage?
Well, and then even after her hold goes, she's a druid and she can cast spells and do awesome stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm throwing it out there as right now the scene is Lenore's got him held person. Mm-hmm. Again, that tight grip with that left arm is holding him in place, unable to do anything until somebody else makes him do something. The Uriel has the fire leaping from spear to spear, blistering and burning Hobgoblin's hands. The sun has been blotted out. What's less of the sun? The sunset has been blotted out by arrows, which has taken out nearly all of the Hobgoblin guard. And then she's come up. She being... What the hell did you do here?
I know.
You used the wrong thing. Dagnabbit. And Kelly, as Trillium, stepped in as the grizzly bear and has grabbed the king hobgoblin by the throat and started shaking him. So the scene is literally chaos from the player character's perspective and dumbfoundedness from the hobgoblin perspective. So the hobgoblins aren't quite sure what's going on over the last 5 seconds, whereas the players know from the character's perspective they have gone in and attacked. And the hobgoblins would be, huh? What? All my hands are burning. Holy crap, I can't move. Why is there a bear at my throat?
Dude, they're Southern redneck hobgoblins.
They are now, yeah.
Wow.
Apparently.
Right, I love it.
Didn't know that.
Right.
It's America.
So my thought
America
is,
Bear.
what's the next step in demoralizing the hobgoblins? Or, from you guys' perspective, what's the next step in genocide with hobgoblins? Right?
Hobgoblin genocide.
Yeah. Go.
Chris, what is do you have
right
like
now,
a fireball?
the open
AOE?
characters, to me, the open
No.
characters are Breton and Uriel. Everybody else has a step, a piece that they're already interacting with.
Can you cast like fire on my short sword so I can go in with a flaming sword and slice through the hobgoblin
Well, it would need
minions?
fuel to burn on there. I'd have to concentrate to keep fire on top of it. It's kind of, If you already had, like, dipped it in oil, I could just light it up. But
How about if I dipped it in hobgoblin blood?
yeah.
Ew.
I mean, you should do that anyway, but...
Breton's not stopping. He's in a rage, like, with Trillium.
Yeah.
So he's shot, he's running, he's got his sword off of his back. And now at this point, he's going in to the front of the hobgoblin minions, and he's going...
Okay. So Breton, and I'm thinking of it as...
I mean, they're just little hobgoblins.
Well, hobgoblins are humanoid sized, so they'd be your sized.
They're not rangers.
And now, one of the things I'm thinking, because I always think it's funny, like you mentioned Legolas earlier, but any reference to an archer who all of a sudden runs out of arrows in their quiver. Right. So you reach back and it's like nothing's there. Right. So you grab your sword and you just charge forward. Right. You don't carry a shield or anything, right? It's just grabbing that sword and charging in to help protect your friends.
Right.
Okay. And you're headed towards which? What's your target? What's the point of charging in? The focal point.
Well, I feel like she's got the king covered.
Probably,
with Cloud.
Yeah.
And so I want to hold off. I want to slow the 30 minions from coming her way.
Okay. So you're just going into hack and slash? Is that it?
Yes.
Let's do that. Let's go ahead and hack and slash then, Kurt.
Which is
hack and slash is strength, yeah.
Strength.
Yeah, it's kind of a...
I rolled an 11 plus 0, baby.
That works, brother. So the first hobgoblin you run against, you come up... Wow.
For the listeners at home, there's an operation going on a beer here to get the top off. That's pretty remarkable.
And it is...
Where's the other opener?
Falling apart pretty horribly. But I'll do this just to open
That's
it
what I
so
wanted
I can
to
drink
do.
it. I'll give you that part.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, JJ and Mickey, for the bottle opener from Guinness.
It is no more.
It is
No, I'm
now
gonna put it back
needing
together
to be reassembled. So the hobgoblins are kind of in a disarray. Kurt, describe to me how Breton is able to just walk up and slice two of them down.
Because he's a stud?
Yeah, but what does it look like? How does it?
So, I mean, he's
the camera's right on Breton as he charges. Yeah. So the beginning of the shot is Breton reaches back. There's no more arrows there. Right. He grabs his sword and what?
Right. So he's running at full speed towards them, and as he reaches down to his waist on his right for his sword, he pulls it out of the scabbard with an upswing or an uppercut, and decapitates the first one. And then comes back from the other side and slices the other one across through his neck.
I see Breton as somebody who's named his sword. Does he have a name yet for the sword?
I was going to say Tiddlywinks, but that doesn't seem quite in character.
Right, you think about that for now. In the meantime, Uriel, you've got them. You've got them holding on to or dropping hot spears. And what is your next step?
I'd like to see if I could just bend the fire to start burning hobgoblins instead of.
So you actually want to hit them with the fire. Now, is there anything in Zuko style that does damage, or is it really just moving fire around?
It's just moving fire around. So yeah.
So let's do it as a. I mean,
technically, I can use my burning brand to
That's
conjure.
What I'm thinking. Hack and slash burning brand.
Because that is like I have a ranged weapon, but I'm not.
Yep.
I'm not necessarily making a weapon. I'm using whatever is fires there to like.
So I guess it comes down to: do you want to keep them distracted with flame, or do you want to kill them with flame? Because if you want to kill them, I'm going to lean you towards burning brand and hack and slash. If you want to keep them distracted, we can keep it with the Zuko style you already did.
Well, I would have to.
Zukum style.
And for whatever reason, I'm thinking something different, like everybody dance now.
I guess I could do.
Everybody fire now.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna run. I'm just gonna run down there. I want to start chopping people up anyway. I want to get my hands dirty. I'm gonna run down there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how are you going to get your hands dirty?
I'm gonna have to use Burning Brand to conjure a weapon.
Let's conjure that weapon.
While he's doing that, he just calls his sword Milady. Doesn't have a name. Oh, well done, Milady.
Nice. That's not bad.
Let's
at
go
all,
and
actually.
chop some heads, Milady.
That's a 9, so I get 1 tag
Okay.
on it. So besides, well, hold on. It always has fiery touch and dangerous, but I'm gonna use +1 damage. Add
Okay.
that tag.
Forgot how good these
Up
were.
to you if you want to let me attack on the same as I'm running.
Of course
down.
I do.
Okay, then.
Get
I
in
almost want to
there.
be like I'm in motion to strike somebody with a weapon, and it hasn't completely formed yet until I'm close to like it's coming like that's emanating
Right.
from my hands like like,
Wrecked him. Damn near
You
killed
killed
him.
So first guy on the edge of the border there, like
Okay.
as soon as I run in, that's the guy who's gonna.
This will be one of the guys you distracted with the
Yeah,
flaming
yeah.
spear thing. Anyway, yep.
Ooh, 8. 8.
8
works. 8 works.
8 works.
Yeah, just +1 for damage, so it's not +1.
So what I'll have you do is, as you're charging him and he realizes you're charging him, he grabs that spear that he dropped and he kind of holds it up in your direction, and you'll take a D8 minus your armor.
All right, so he took 4 points of damage.
You will kill him.
I'm taking 2 points.
Okay.
What did you take?
2 points of damage.
2 points.
I was hoping it was odd because then I
Yeah.
get to do the weird thing with the damage.
Your weird absorb damage kind of.
Yeah, it's like
thing.
you kind of like the flames kind of suck up the damage.
Yeah.
on it,
He sucks, flame wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm going to revisit the bear and the cleric. That's a nice episode title as well. The bear and the cleric walk into a bar. Between the bear holding it by the neck and the cleric holding it, waiting for damage to happen, what happens here? You guys talk to me. Talk to me, Goose.
I'm okay with just trying to kill this guy.
Is it like suffocate him kind of thing? Or
I mean,
like,
I've got him by the throat, and I'm shaking him around.
So the key being, and Lenore said this early on, don't damage him.
Right.
Are you trying to damage him or suffocate him?
If she's going to damage him, she's got to make it quick. Because once he takes damage, he's free to move. So if she has a way to end him quick,
Yeah.
or keep him pinned, because we don't know how strong this guy is
Stick your
either.
bear tongue down his throat.
How is suffocating him not damage?
Yeah.
That would still be damage.
So this is one of those
Well,
danger world things.
well,
That's to defy
well,
danger with constitution.
Are you trying to do like put him to sleep, kind of like
He could suffocate without taking any damage.
That's thinking mechanically. You just want to rip his throat out, right?
Yeah.
Just rip his
Do
throat
it.
out. He takes
Just do
damage,
it.
and we fight him. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
And,
Yeah,
and
okay.
that's where I'm throwing it to.
Because you're not gonna
the
hold-
cleric.
you're not gonna be able to hold
Because
back.
I'm going to feel as soon as he takes
Oh,
damage,
yeah.
it's going to be
You'll
like
know.
a rubber band snaps.
Okay.
And do you have an attack ready or
Yeah.
a spell or something you can
Magic
use?
missile.
Awesome.
Okay.
She can
All right, so
cleric
how
the
do
hell
I-
out of that con-
And then we can
out
talk
that
to him later.
Well, you use up your
Because I
last
got
hold.
speak
And I'm
with
gonna
dead.
cloud on him.
No, I didn't.
We're good.
I only used 2 of my holds.
But this would be the
2 out
last
of
hold to
3,
like.
right.
This is the
Murdoch
last
kind
hold.
of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do I...
So
Does
you're
she roll
angry.
damage on her?
Yeah,
her
do I have
hold,
to
or how do we
roll?
do that?
Do you want to crush his throat or not?
Kill him.
Yeah. Yeah,
Dead
if I
versus
can,
throat?
yeah.
So here's where we're going to visit it in the same, I don't know, call it humorous context as we did with the blacksmith, in that you can crush his throat, but you'll use your last hold, and you will be a human biting on a hobgoblin's throat at the end of it.
You're so mad you probably wouldn't care.
I'm good with it.
You good with that?
Yeah. Trillium has... It's the last straw.
Yeah.
Are
So,
you
like-
ripping his throat out? Like, is it going to be
Oh, yeah.
nasty,
And if I turn
horrible?
back into a human, I'm spitting it out.
Yeah, that's
So
good
here's
stuff.
what I
Okay.
need.
Whipping my bow out.
That happens. The hobgoblins will be temporarily in a disarray. Who is going to step up and get them in line? And it can't be the person who just ripped out their leader's throat. So Trillium can't participate in this because she just ripped out their leader's throat. Lenore, Breton, Uriel, somebody has to step up and either get the rest of the hobgoblins in line or, well, frankly, kill them.
It'll be me. I'll do it.
Uriel?
You have a very commanding presence. I mean,
right.
I could yell and get their attention and
So
like
at
have a
the
magic
last-
missile ready.
At the last moment, you hear King Grooknock gurgle something that sounds like I'm dying, and you turn and you see. Actually, Kelly, describe to me what it looks like when the bear turns back into Trillium.
Okay, so I rip his throat out. I've got bits of skin and
Hobgoblin nastiness.
Just
yeah.
nastiness.
Hobgoblins
Nasty
are
in my
slightly
mouth.
green, by the way. It's a green-gray color, more
Okay.
green than gray.
so I would just say like I simply like kind of shrink a little bit back to
Okay.
like my human size, and like my all the hair, like all my fur kind of like slinks back into my skin, and
Yeah.
like I have skin again, and then I spit out the
So Uriel, you
Throat.
notice that Grooknock has his end finished for him. The end of his story has been written by Trillium, and you then say or do,
I want to get on top of I want to stand on his throne
okay,
and say, "You will leave your weapons. You will leave this place. If you come back, I will have the flesh burned from your bodies."
oh, it sounds like you're bargaining with their lives. That sounds like a parlay. Let's do the parlay move, which is on the back of your character sheet. Actually, I think it's
Basic
on the front. A basic move, parlay.
Charisma's not my thing, by the way, everybody. And unless I could try to use my mouth as a flame, but I'm not really.
Well, we have a bond. I
Ben-
could aid you.
I'm not really tempting their weak
yeah,
mind.
anybody
It's
could
kinda-
aid,
yeah.
right? Because anybody could say, "Hey, he's telling the truth," kind of thing. So go for that. Go for aid. Anybody who wants to help.
How did aid work?
Aid is just a
9.
straight up. When you help or hinder somebody you have a bond with, you
Roll
roll
plus
plus
bond.
bonds.
So I've got
So it could be 0
1.
plus
So I've got a
0.
10, which means that
You get a
you
plus
get a
1.
+1.
Yeah.
We should all be like, yeah, he's telling the truth.
He is
Yeah,
the man.
I rolled a 7 plus, what do I add?
Any bonds you have
If
with
you have
the
bonds with
character?
him.
I do.
I have one bond with Uriel.
If you have,
Yeah, they
so
both
if
have
the
one.
bonds you have do not make your roll a 10 plus, then you're inviting danger on yourself. But you still give them a +1 as long as you're over a 6.
That's fine. I'm at 7 plus
All right.
1.
So you get +2 to this roll so far, Chris, depending on what you have for charisma. Which is
I plus 2.
0. Yes.
So that's good. It's
You're
better.
probably not going to get much of an aid with the person who has their king's throat in
No.
their jowls.
Although I am
No.
threatening their lives.
She's
so.
like,
Yeah.
he's awesome.
All right, so that's 11.
11. So 11 should do it.
Yeah.
What is it you tell them again?
I said you will, lay down your weapons and you will leave this place, never to return, or I will burn the flesh from your bones.
Several,
And then I have my flaming sword spark up even more when I do that. My burning
Nice.
brand.
So several of them immediately drop the weapons they're holding, whether they be their crude hobgoblin blade or the spear they're holding that may have been blistering their fingers. They drop the blade. Those who do not drop their weapons still slowly retreat to the shadows. Others that have dropped their weapons kind of just run off, and they're running off in every direction, like they have no idea where to go. There are a couple that look towards Trillium and see, hobgoblin guts, not guts, I'm sorry, flesh and blood dripping from her mouth, and They look at her for a few moments and then like scream, crap themselves, and run away. But none of them stay around to see what's going on next. You have gotten the goblins to evacuate the area. They have left some nasty goblin excrement behind.
Yeah.
However, the animals, the things in the wicker baskets that they were torturing, they're still there, so they're ready to be freed. But they did not. They are no longer messing with the area that Trillium calls home. So what you want to do?
Well, I'll douse the fire if anything's still burning, you know.
Yeah, there were still things burning. It doesn't seem like you to douse a fire.
Well, you know what I mean, I guess.
I guess I'll come down into the camp and see if
diminish the fire.
if I can help get animals out of the cages and help you tend to them, because I like to heal.
Yeah.
What are Trillium's favorite, 30 to 50 pound woodland animals? Just curious. Like bigger things? I say like a boar-sized thing.
Bear cubs?
Maybe smaller. Bear cubs.
Bear cubs or...
Big raccoons.
Gosh, yeah, what's a big 30 to 40 pound
So
animal that would live in the forest?
Everything that is within
Deer?
Like a fawn.
Yeah.
everything that is within the wicker cabinet melts your heart a little bit more as it is released.
So, yeah, I would say
A
like...
large beaver
That's what I said, a giant beaver.
Big beaver.
with a really large pelt.
Yes, a very big beaver.
Shout out to beaver pelts.
Thank you, Mickey. Those are what's released from the wicker cabinets. Other things were small enough for the hobgoblins to hold and torture, but the bigger things were in the wicker, the wicker baskets that were being tortured above the flame and poked with spears. So each time that one of your party members is able to open up a wicker basket and allow something to get out, it's something that melts your heart just a little bit more to allow it to see it released back into nature.
Do we want to interrogate the big dead guy?
Yes.
Yeah?
Because that'll take some work on my part.
Yep.
Yeah,
You think?
that's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless he's pulling his strings.
There are definitely strings being pulled with King Grooknock. The important part, though, is we'll find out what strings in our next episode as we wrap up this episode. And we want to thank Kelly for joining us.
Yay,
Thank
Kelly!
you for having me.
Hope she comes back.
Thank you.
In the meantime, Trillium's home has been defended by our stout group of adventurers, and she can definitely at least rest assured for a while knowing her home is safe. Is that good for Trillium?
Yes, that is
That's a
awesome
good
for
thing.
Trillium.
She probably has to spit out hobgoblin neck for a while.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's
That's all
worth
right. I leveled up. I showed them who's boss.
it. Cool. In the meantime, we're going to finish up this episode. We'll figure out where we go next, talking to the now deceased King Grooknock through Lenore's efforts, through Zoraika. Bridget makes a slicing motion. But we will finish up this episode, and we'll all say...
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.